What's mental health?
He asks all the questions everybody wants to know.
It basically includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being.
You're driving me half out of my mind, you crazy old coat.
It affects how we think, feel, and act.
Oh my God.
Not just that, mental health helps to determine how we handle stress, and other things as humans. The Mind Clinic, a platform where people can talk about issues directly or indirectly on mental health.
It's time for the Mind Clinic. We bring you the Mind Clinic every weekday at 8 a.m. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m. And the Mind Clinic is brought to you by Neem Foundation. Usually on the program, we talk about various issues in regards to mental health. And today, it wouldn't be different. We're looking at parenting, especially at this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. How are you coping at home with work and the children and life in general? This is becoming the new norm. For a lot of people, this is the first time in their existence staying at home for about 3 weeks straight, not going anywhere at all. How has it been? In regards to mental health, we'll look at that and look at how we're discussing with the children and how we're training the kids even from home as parents. Of course, Chinyere Go Densi's on the show this morning. Good morning, Chinyere.
Good morning, Victor. Good morning, listeners.
Yes, we're so glad that you're able to join us on the show this morning.
As always, I'm here.
And we're not alone. We're joined by one who's got passion, huge interest for young girls. She's very enthusiastic for knowledge, and it spurs her to creating impact whenever the need arises. Of course, she's very interested in mental health. Chimdalu Nwosu is our guest on the show this morning.
Hi, Victor. Hi, Chinyere. Hi, listeners. Good morning.
Good morning to you. We're glad you're able to join us.
And I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, then. So we'll get straight to the conversation. And by the way, we'd like that you be part of the conversation this morning. We'll throw the phone lines open. And when we throw the phone lines open, we ask that you be part of the show. So the numbers to call us will be 0817 8000 947, 0901 0947 777. Parenting in stressful situations is what we're talking about. Chindalu, can you tell us,
Yes, sir.
how can parents be, very effective while working from home and managing, the whole relationship at home at the same time?
Okay, thanks, Victor. The thing about working from home right now is, well, first and foremost, let's all appreciate the fact that this is the first time any of us is going through such peculiar situations. I know some of us have worked from home for different reasons. You've fallen ill, different things, but this is peculiar in the sense that everyone, the kids are at home, you can't step out. So I think that for parents, they should first of all be kind to themselves in not expecting themselves to be perfect, in terms of making sure everything is done, the house is tidy, the children they've had their bath by 7:30 a.m., work is done by 2, everyone has eaten. I mean, that would be ideal, but it might be very difficult to achieve everything that you have in your mind's eye. So first of all, I'd say let everyone just be kind to themselves. These are difficult times. These are strange times. And there really isn't anyone anywhere giving you a gold star for perfect parenting. We're literally all struggling and asking God for grace. But I do know that having some sort of routine, an intention, a framework that these are the steps that I would like to follow in order to give my day some kind of structure. It really helps. It really helps. Just to say, in the same way that having a shopping list would help you when you go to buy groceries. Yes, sir. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, and then this will be similar to making a to-do list for the day.
Exactly, it's exactly a to-do list for the day. For each day. I have one written down every night, and this was pre-COVID. The first week of COVID, I just threw my to-do list to the bin and enjoyed sleeping all day. But after that, I knew I needed to, return to some sort of structure, some sort of routine. But then I think why I'm saying people should be kind is that just be flexible. Don't beat yourself over the head if you miss a few steps or if things aren't done as perfectly as you would have preferred.
Now, would you also suggest that we add time to it? There are timelines.
Yes, for sure. Yes, of course. So you have to have at least, even if it's not a time in terms of 8:10, I should have had my bath, but have a time range.
Yeah.
So between 8 to 9 a.m. or 8 to 9:30, I ought to have woken up, meditated, journaled, had my water, done some exercise, and I've had my bath. And that between 9:30 to 10:30, I'm done with breakfast, done with cleaning up the house and all of that. A time range or a time frame. And then if you're expected by your human resources to turn in a certain number of tables or work or whatever, give yourself a time range for sitting down at a desk, a nice, clean, well-aired space, and actually doing your work. And the whole family should know that this is time for work. Mom or dad is at the office.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you have two teenage boys.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to add, I'm glad that you talked about routine and incorporating some form of structure in our life.
Yes.
And I'm actually glad you mentioned both where you threw your routine into the bin and then you decided to be very structured in your approach.
Yes.
And the thing is that it doesn't just benefit the parents, it also works to benefit the children.
Yes, it does.
Have almost something you're looking forward to, have some form of plan that works well for both parties instead of just doing it haphazardly.
Yes.
And I like the fact you mentioned that it shouldn't be too strict.
Yes.
Because it's so easy for us to be very hard on ourselves when we have
Exactly that, yeah.
Now, you're a mother and a wife, I understand that. And beyond all of that, you have a lot you're doing at the moment. Now, for the kids as well, would you advise parents also make out a routine for them? Between sister time and sister time, you can watch TV. Between XYZ time, you can read your book or you must read your book. Is there a routine like that for the kids?
Yeah, for my kids there is. It hasn't been the easiest thing because I have older kids. So for the teenagers, it was a bit difficult, or it has been a bit difficult in terms of getting them to have a structure. Yeah, but definitely we had to just say, okay, we know you all are teenagers, but you also need to have a structure. And it was really helpful when their school called in and started giving work. So there are actually times when they need to be seated at their desks in front of their laptops and engaging with their teachers. Okay. That was really, really helpful for us. But for my daughter who is 8, it's much easier to structure her time. So for parents of younger children, have fun. It's much easier now to structure their time. But regardless, even when they're older, I think everyone needs to have a routine. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday or a few days ago, we had a conversation with them. We had to say, okay, boys, there has to be a sleeping time, because it was literally, they wake up at 6 p.m. and then wait till all their friends in different countries around the globe come online at about 10 p.m. and they're all playing Fortnite till like 4 a.m. And we're like, no, okay, we allowed you to do this for about 7 days, 8 days. This has to stop. Yeah. So we had a roundtable conference, and we all agreed on timing to sleep, timing to wake up, timing to have their baths, and timing to sit at their tables and actually do work. And it helps, because I remember the first few days of engagement with their school, they would be lying down on their beds and listening to their teachers. I said, absolutely not. You're going to sit at the desk and actually create some sort of classroom environment. Yes, ma'am. So
Okay, now have you taken time to explain to the kids why they're at home and the ongoing situation in the world?
Oh yes, of course. Once again, for the older kids, it was a given. They clearly understood that initially they didn't understand why the lockdown was so intense that they couldn't go and play, because they're quite athletic and they engage in sports every single day. For my second son, it's football every single day. And my first son, he plays on the basketball team every single day. So he didn't understand why they couldn't go for their practice and everything. And they kept saying, Mom, but these skills are muscle memory. We need to engage in these things or we'd forget, But at some point, I wasn't even. I'm not gonna lie. I want to be very real, so that other mothers and fathers won't be under pressure. At some point, I was like, I'm not going to explain this any further. You can't go out, and that's that. And and they got on board. But for my daughter, she's of course younger, and as all girls are, a little bit more sensitive and more emotional about things. So I actually went online and I looked for a bedtime story about these times, about COVID. If you go online, you can find a lot of resources. And one night, just as I was tucking her into bed, I usually let her choose her bedtime stories, but that particular night, I said I had a story for her, and we read that story, and it was such a sweet way of explaining the entire situation. She had so many questions. Is everyone going to die? Why are people dying? Am I going to die? Are you going to die? And it was really all those questions were answered in the story. So I would really advise parents to, first of all, have different strategies for the kids at different ages. The way you would speak to a 5 to 9-year-old is not the same way you would speak to a 10 to 15 or 16-year-old. There are different approaches, but the truth has to be told. These are really, really different, strange times. Also in terms of the things they want. No, you cannot have ice cream. We're actually trying to make sure we're not overspending. We're looking after our money. No one knows what the next couple of weeks is going to look like in terms of finances. So in terms of all of those things, the extras, no, we cannot order more than 2 pizzas a week or 1 pizza a week or none at all. You really have to be honest with them so that everybody knows that these times are times when the whole family needs to cut their coat and kind of buckle up, because everybody's seeing what's happening to the price of oil. We're in for some great times ahead. So everybody needs to get on board, even the kids.
So,
thank you for mentioning that.
Thanks.
So how about some schools that are not able to teach the children from home? Do you think the parents can also step in at this time, begin to teach these children a few lessons, perhaps from English, the little that they know actually, from home, so the kids do not just stay at home without learning at all for weeks or for months?
So it's paramount. It is essential. Unfortunately, this period is going to actually, how do I put this, expose how underdeveloped we are as a continent and as a nation in particular, in terms of our inability to have network that will support these types of e-learning that clearly the world is beginning to move towards. And not just that, so even in schools where you have a lot of rich kids or kids from rich homes, you would begin to see the division in economic status in these homes, because to actually support this e-learning, parents need to be able to afford functional laptops, fast functional laptops for their children, and also be able to afford functional networks, data networks. And you're going to see that many kids are going to be left behind. Nigeria is going to be left behind in this global trend. And then breaking it down to different schools, you see different families having their children being left behind. So if I were parents, and I'm so glad that there is no day that I've gone to the supermarket, because we live near Prince Ebano, and you go there and you see parents almost every single day at the stationery section picking up maths workbooks, English workbooks, board games, cards, novels, things. I always smile when I see these things, and it makes my heart happy because I spend a lot of money on these things. I buy crossword puzzles. I force these children to do at least one a day. You have to step in, whether we like it or not. We're going to the fact that we are actually a poor nation is going to be emphasized in this new normal, and so that you have to make sure that your children are not too far behind.
Exactly.
So that even when parents do send in work, when school sends in work, sends in stuff for your children to do, things for them to read, I would strongly suggest, Mommy, give your kids work every single day. Every single day. All right? If you don't know the maths, pretend. Pretend. Pass it on to Daddy, or Daddy, if you don't know the English, pretend, pass it on to Mom. But this has to be a collaborative effort.
Yes.
And we really have to be the ones telling ourselves, we can't let these kids fall too far behind.
All right, I'll tie two questions really quickly before the phone lines open. The